everyone, so in this video I'm going to go over replacing the spur gear in the HotBodies Leighton Stadium 10, also known as the HPI bullet. So if anyone's been following my Instagram posts, you would have seen that in my last driving session, shall we call it, or bashing session, I shredded part of the spur gear due to incorrectly lining up the engine. So I thought I'd go over a little video of how to replace it and then, yeah, go from there. So first thing you need to do is take out the engine. That's the first thing you're going to want to do, is take the engine out of the vehicle. Because I've had mine mounted onto a steel plate due to the length of the engine, I've taken it out before the video for ease. So you're going to have to take it out how you normally would undoing the 4 screws from underneath and the bottom of the chassis. From there, you're going to want to take a Phillips screwdriver, or depending on the fitment, if I had a Phillips, not a flathead. Now, depending on what size screw determines the size of the Phillips screwdriver, but undo the servo horn which controls the throttle and the brake. Keep the screw to one side in a safe space. Take the servo horn off the servo, and then we can move on. So underneath the vehicle, you're going to want to undo these 4 screws. There we have it. So then you just flip the vehicle back over. Oh, shoot. Whilst here, you're also going to want to undo this and this little bit, that screw and that. Can't get the right screwdrivers. This screw. Followed by this screw, which hold the carry handle slash roll bar that comes standard with the vehicle. There we go, see, the roll bar comes off. And the assembly is loose, like so, but obviously you can't remove it just yet because of the anti-bending plates. So what you're going to have to do is remove either the front or the rear end of the vehicle. So I'm going to remove the front. Unscrew this one and this one, if I can find the right screwdriver again. Put it to one side. qualify this one, put it to one side, and you should, with a bit of welding, be able to remove the front end like that, and you can just unpin steering tie rods and put the whole front end assembly to one side. So let's put my spacers over to one side. Now you can remove the entire spur gear assembly. If it was me, I'd keep this one in here well balanced. Put the rest of the vehicle to one side so it doesn't get in the way. So now we're down to just the spur gear assembly here, and if you can, you might just be able to make it out just in there. It completely flattened off the teeth. I mean, to be fair, this is still the original spur gear from when the vehicle was first made, so in my eyes it's done very, very, very well for itself. So the next thing you're going to want to do is begin stripping this down, which I'll speed through for you so you don't have to watch all of the boring stuff. So you're going to want a 10mm spanner to undo the slipper clutch nut until it's loosened up, to take off like so. Put them to one side. And then you can slide the shaft out. Don't lose the pin. My little warning. Take either side of the slipper clutch plates out, put them to one side, push the centre spacer out, and that's the spur gear out. And yeah, now that I look at it, you really can see just how flat the teeth got. So that is, as I call it, cream crackered, and that can go straight in the bin. Next, you want to get your new spur gear, which I have placed somewhere very, very safe. Probably in the spares box. Nope. So this is basically a brand new spur gear. The slipper clutch pad is still blue. Normally they'll come with one side as sticky, like a sticky back, double-sided tape, sorry, so you can just peel the tape off and stick it into place, and the same on the other side, although for some reason this one's been glued on the wrong way around. Trust it to be mine. So you're going to want to keep hold of your plastic spacer. Now you can use or reuse the plastic spacers, or you can use a bearing that's the same size. I'm going to use the plastic spacer because I don't know where all the other bearings have gone. I've put them somewhere safe. Again, as per the norm, so the bearing looks like it's the same size as the ones that go on in the diff or the edges of the diffs, and inside of here. So let's just check, shall we? If it's so, I'll come back and do that at a later date. But there you go. So then you just put the slipper clutch plate, there we go, on and back on. What you want to do is, if you can see it, this side has a deeper cutting out around here than this side. So the shallower one needs to have the slipper clutch plate, which has got the pinholes in, and then you get the other side of the slipper clutch plate, put it together like so, put the shaft with the pin back through, he says, even though it's not, there we go. Then you can put your spring back on, your slipper clutch nut back on, now you would tighten this up whilst you're out driving to your desired slipper clutch strength, but just for the purposes of this, I'm just going to tighten it up as it sits. So also take note of the orientation that it come out of the truck. So the screw side, or the spring side, faces towards the front of the truck, because then the spur gear lines up nicely with the hole that's in the bottom of the chassis. So you're going to want to get I've lost my space in washers. That's right. So you want to slot that then back into there. Well, to be fair, you can just do it on here. So you slot the cut back onto the shaft, tighten the grub screw, and again it's wise to use blue Loctite in there, and then just slot it back in like so, and as you can see it spins quite nicely. Yeah. Spur gear spins true. Now the fun and games of fitting this end back on. So I believe that there is normally a washer in there, or a spacer. I'll see if I've got one in my box of spares. Will that one fit? Yes, it will. What will it? Bear with me, folks. Just need to make sure I've got the right spacer, because there wasn't one when I took it off, which is why my slipper clutch wasn't the best. No, it's too big. So normally there would be a washer in there to stop all the movement, but I haven't got one, and to be honest, I don't think there ever was one on my truck, and it's never caused me an issue so far. So you just slot it back on. You can take out the brake disc and slot it in as you did for the other side, but I'm a bit lazy. So again, grub screw. I'm going to do it, making sure that the grub screw is actually on the flat edge of the shaft, and then it just sits in like so. Next, you're going to want to put the brake disc aligner. Make sure the brake disc is actually over the cup. Put the brake disc aligner in, and and screw that back in, and do exactly as the reverse of when you took it to bits, which I'll speed through now for you. So there we have it. Spur gears put back into the centre gearbox, as I call it. Spins quite nicely. Obviously it's single brake at the moment. Coming up in a future video we'll be dual braking it and showing how to set that up, which is fairly simple. So now we can go ahead and start putting this back. I'm really sorry guys, my GoPro decided to stop recording for some reason halfway through. So I put it back in, put the centre gearbox back in, you know, as it was before, just by doing up the 4 screws underneath, which I'm just going to tighten right quick. To be fair, they're already pretty tight. Next you can put the roll cage back in. If you've got the original plastic one, the fuel line clips obviously go nearest the fuel tank. I made that mistake many years ago, trying to put it in the wrong way around and realising and wondering why it wasn't working. So literally just screws back into place, and I'll fast forward through the rest of the video. And there we have it, back to where we were at the beginning of the video. So as you can see, new spur gear is in. Wheels turn as expected, as does the spur gear. So I'm quite happy with that. All you need to do is put the engine back in how you took it out, and then you should be good to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos coming up. Thank you very much.